Hello, everybody. My name is Cassandra Parker, and my topic is the voluntary sector. I didn't choose this topic, I just received it, so um, I did struggle to find a good article, but then when I found this article, I really liked it, and I especially liked it because I feel like we can relate it to other things we've already learned in other chapters, so that was nice. But yeah, first I'm going to discuss what the voluntary sector is, and then I am going to talk about the article I found about a nonprofit called Food Not Bombs. The voluntary sector is made up of private nonprofit organizations. Historically, voluntary organizations have been a platform for social justice movements. Food Not Bombs. Emerging in the early 1980s within the United States, Food Not Bombs is a worldwide initiative. Its history is defined by a steadfast dedication to tackling problems encompassing hunger, poverty, warfare, and environmental harm via nonviolent direct actions and equitable distribution of food resources. Houston volunteers fight tickets for serving meals to homeless people. The Houston Police Department has been issuing fines to volunteers of this group since March for violating the city ordinance that prohibits meal donations. This volunteer group feeds the homeless people fresh fruit, vegetables, and rice plates outside of the city library there in Houston. They've been doing this for more than a decade, but now they're fighting against a local law because it could cost them $23,500 in fines. And honestly, as I'm speaking, their fines have probably risen even more, honestly. This is a social justice issue because the organization is just trying to feed the hungry, and this organization's been helping for a while, so the fact that they're having to deal with all this backlash now makes it a social justice issue. The city ordinance was enacted in 2012 and prohibits organizations from holding events that give food for free when there's no approval from the property owner. So they're allowed to give food without the approval, but it has to be under 5 people, which if you're a nonprofit feeding the homeless and the hungry, there's going to be more than 5 people. The library's tax-funded property, and this group thinks they have the right to serve here, and I agree with that. If it's a city library that anybody can attend, why would it be such a big deal to have people there eating food? The mayor says they have a problem with them feeding the homeless here now because it is making the library unwelcoming. Advancing social justice. The voluntary sector has been crucial in shaping United States social welfare. It has been the source of great effort to advance the rights of marginalized populations. All social justice movements have been the product of voluntary sector organizations and nonprofits. I'm sure you can close your eyes and think of all of the great nonprofits that have resulted in huge change in the United States. I mean, just think about, you know, gay rights, transgender, controversial things. Like, I can just think of a lot of organizations that have changed the way society is, really. Much of the heritage of social welfare can be linked to early charity organizations within the voluntary sector. According to traditional providers, voluntary nonprofit agencies offer the advantages of neighborliness, a reaffirmation of community values, a concern for the community as opposed to personal gain, and freedom to alter programming to conform to changes in local priorities. Food Not Bombs is offering precisely this. This organization is offering food to homeless and hungry people. The location that law enforcement wants them to move is in front of the city jail. So they want them to stop feeding people in front of the library because it's unwelcoming, and they want them to instead take their whole setup and feed people in front of the city jail. Food Not Bombs thinks serving food next to the city jail would deter the group's ability to reach people. And I agree, because I think of it like this. So I'm a mom, I have a 2-year-old. If we were homeless and hungry, it would already be really hard for me to like wait in line and to get food. I would already probably feel kind of shameful, which you shouldn't feel shameful if you need to eat and you need help. But that's personally how I would feel, you know? And if I was told, oh, it's not at the library anymore, you have to go in front of the city jail, that would make me feel even worse. And I don't know, that's how I see it. Like, if I had to bring my son in front of the city jail just to feed us dinner, that would make me feel even worse. There's probably some people who are like, oh, I don't care, food is food. But for me, I don't really want to bring my son in front of the jail. Yeah, he won't remember, but at the same time, like, what if in a couple years I had to go back? Or, people with kids or just people in general shouldn't have to go to the jail to get a meal. I don't know. So, policy statement NASW supports. I could not find a specific section in regard to volunteer work. I found a lot of useful info in the Code of Ethics, but so I decided to choose a community development statement. So, ensuring transparency of decision making in the community development process. I'm trying to correlate this with Food Not Bombs and the voluntary sector as much as I can. Beneficial and effective community development that includes investing time and resources, which these organizations could definitely use, especially when it comes to locations where they can offer support to people. Community development efforts involving social workers partnering with members of affected communities, such as the homeless and the hungry, examining and challenging existing power structures, that law that was enacted in 2012 preventing these organizations from feeding people, and enhancing relationships which build capacity to address gaps in services. Clearly there's gaps in services if people are going hungry still. A lot of people say, oh, why don't those people just get food stamps? It's not always that easy. Some people don't have an address to receive paperwork, to have the adequate paperwork and process started. Or, maybe some people just don't qualify for an array of reasons, and, they might need it, but they're not getting qualified for it for whatever reason. So, strength-based perspective, asset building, empowerment, and resilience in all community development efforts. So I'd say these are pretty closely related to the voluntary sector just because social workers and other people, professionals, really are useful when it comes to getting involved in these nonprofits. Social workers are a huge help. They can make such a difference. Which brings me to, what can social workers do? Social workers can play an essential role in assisting nonprofits such as Food Not Bombs. Social workers could help with distributing food, meal planning, and reaching out to people in need. Social workers could also help Food Not Bombs raise awareness about homelessness and poverty so they could help this nonprofit raise awareness to other people. And you never know, you could be walking down the street and meet a family who has been wanting to volunteer, but they didn't know there were opportunities so close to home. Since Food Not Bombs has faced legal trouble, social workers could also assist and offer guidance in navigating the legal system. With knowledge and commitment to social justice, social workers have unlimited potential to help organizations such as Food Not Bombs, which I believe. So my questions for you guys. Do you think Food Not Bombs should continue serving food in front of the library despite the many tickets they are facing? Try to put yourself in the shoes of a person who has to go there to eat their dinner. I'd like you to think of it like that because it's really easy to sit there and say, oh, yeah, just move, go eat anywhere. But think of it like if you think of it maybe as you're a single parent and you have a couple kids, would you rather feed them at the library or at the jail? Also, how do you think nonprofits could be better assisted by social workers? Yeah, there's already a lot going on, but what do you think social workers could be doing better or maybe more of? Here are my references. Thank you guys very much for watching. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it.